Yo guys, what is going on? Insanity coming back at you today with some more Division content, and I know that it seems like the Division content has been a little bit scarce as of late, but it's been the week of E3, so I hope you guys completely understand. I was trying to go ahead and cover some of the more important titles that were showcased at E3 this year. So with that being said, the rush of E3 is pretty much over at this point. So let's go ahead and get back to the Division, and more importantly, let's talk about trying to spice up the gameplay and talk about something that's been plaguing the Division for quite a while at this point, and that is the weekly assignments. There's a lot of people out there that do the weekly assignments in hopes that they're going to try and get some type of god-rolled item or get that one exotic from the weekly cache that they've been dying to get their hands on, and it's just not working out for them. I mean, I'll give you a perfect example. On Tuesday, I was going through my weekly assignments on both of my characters. I went through all the missions, did all the things that it required, killed the elite enemies, and did all that nonsense. And I got 2 Pharaoh's masks, both of them with really terrible armor, and minors and majors that didn't matter. So I pretty much either one, tried to give it away to someone that was playing with me. If they didn't want it, I took it and dismantled it because it was useless to use. Now, with that being said, how do we make it so that the time spent on doing these things is actually worth the reward that you're getting? And I think the way that we need to go ahead and try and think about this for a second is, first of all, what's wrong with the weekly assignments, right? There's a lot of people out there, myself included, I will gladly admit to this, they're cheesing the way you do weekly assignments. I mean, first of all, there's this one major portion of the assignments that's called the complete 10 hard or challenging missions, but it doesn't say anything beyond that point. You can go into World Tier 1 with 256 gear and wreck shop on the same mission over and over. I dedicate every Monday to this already. I call it Amherst Monday, and we just go through Amherst apartment on World Tier 1 as fast as we can, and we get through a run in about 2.5 to 3 minutes, and we finish all 10 runs extremely fast. That's fine. That's great. I know I'm not the only one that does it, and I'll gladly admit to it. But that needs to be stopped. It needs to be fixed, and that's not the full intention that they had when they created this section of weekly assignments. So how do we fix it? I think it needs to be replaced. It needs to be replaced with something new, something that's going to be a little bit more engaging and offer more variety gameplay, and that is put up something similar to the HVTs, but have it be in the weeklies that don't cost anything, where it's going to be a hit list or most wanted list of 10 named bosses that need to be taken out each week. It's not something you have to pay for. It's just something that you can go throughout the light zone and the dark zone to find. They're not going to give you the location of these bosses. They're just going to give you names. That way you have to have a little bit of Division knowledge so you know where these named bosses are located within the game world. Once you take them out, they get a little, check mark on the list, and you keep moving forward. But what about those out there that have been getting crap rewards for their time inside of the weekly assignments, right? Well, I think it needs to be a little bit different when it comes to the reward system, because now you're really having to use your brain. You're having to do more things. You're not just going in there doing the same thing over and over and over again. I think it's time that they go ahead and up the ante a little bit on the weekly assignment caches and do one of two things. Either A, make it so that when you get a weekly assignment cache, it's going to include 2 exotics, or it's going to be the traditional weekly assignment cache with an additional exotic cache, but the only way to get it is you have to complete that list of 10 most wanted enemies. Otherwise, you only get the traditional weekly assignment cache, and you don't get that additional bonus exotic cache. I think that's a fair way to go ahead and not only change up the gameplay a little bit, but it's going to force players that don't like going into the DZ to go in the DZ and explore and find these named enemies. And not only that, I think this could be a perfect way to bring people into the dark zone that really hate going into it due to unbalanced PvP situations a lot of times. This could be, hey, I have a reason to be here. I'm going to show up. I have purpose to get in and get out. And not only that, I have an opportunity to go ahead and find these couple of enemies, get out, and get that extra piece of loot that I know I'm going to work for. I know that this is just one set of ideas to try and make it so that the weekly assignments can be changed for the better to offer more variety gameplay, but I would love to hear what you guys think. Do you think that the 10 missions needs to be removed from the weekly assignments? Do you feel that the time spent running through all these missions and doing all the other things that are listed in the weekly assignment isn't worth the reward because RNGesus isn't always nice to you, and it can do crazy things like giving you 2 of the exact same items in a row for your weekly exotic reward. I mean, I think it's kind of crappy that that's how it works out. Do you think the idea of having two tiered weekly assignments where you could have the traditional weekly assignments like we have now, and then this new hit list idea that I came up with, and you have to complete both of them in order to get an additional exotic cash or something like that? I mean, again, this is just rambling ideas that are coming off from my brain into this video. I would love to hear your feedback. And of course, again, thank you all again for supporting my channel. Like if you haven't, sub if you're new, and don't forget to turn on your mobile notifications so you know when my content goes live and the moment that my streams hit the internet. Thank you all again, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one. Peace.